Live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah. Hello. Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. You know what I want to do? I want to watch Ron Paul and Wolf Blitzer. And I'll probably take this segment because I can. I haven't had a chance to. I can do it with you. You know, because you can just suck it up and watch it with me. Because I want to see what's up. You know, and how they're doing. I am so unconcerned about these guys. I tell you what's going on. They're starting to realize, and Dr. Paul's told them, he's doing the Billy Jack thing. I'm going to take the right side of my right foot against the right side of your head, and there's nothing you can do about it. Boom. Done. We're going for delegates. Delegates. You have in different counties in Colorado talking about, oh, Santorum kicked butt. Really? Who got all the delegates? You know, you guys understand how this game works? No. It's all just, the GOP and the media and the machine saying, well, we tell you who won, boy. We don't care about the rules. Yeah, what if you're down in the gutter, man, saying you only tell us about delegates, and you start getting them all. Then what? I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, and we'll play this up and see if we can get this going. Here we go.
Joining us now is the Republican presidential candidate, Congressman Ron Paul. He's in his home state of Texas. Congressman, as usual, thanks very much for coming in. But quick question, why aren't you at this conservative political action conference that's underway here in Washington? The other three Republican candidates will be addressing the group tomorrow.
Well, we made a decision a couple months ago not to do it, and it was a matter of resources. We have a lot of young people that are involved in our campaign. We ask a lot of them, and they're doing a lot of hard work. They do the phone calling and the door knocking and all these things that they do, and they're scattered about. So we just decided that we wouldn't put the effort. I mean, people don't come there just automatically, and our supporters, we've asked them to do other jobs. So we had decided that a couple months ago not to come to CPAC.
How do you explain the recent success of Rick Santorum, certainly at the expense of Mitt Romney?
I think it's the frustration with the Republican base, and the turnouts keep going down. I see there's a few Republicans that might not even vote Republican this year, and we certainly have a lot of those that come to our rallies from the Democratic Party. They won't vote Democrat, and they join our rallies. But I think it's the lack of enthusiasm for any of the other three. I mean, there's Mitt's been around for a bit, and they know what he stands for. But there's a bit of irony, though, for Santorum to be the one that's criticizing Mitt Romney for being liberal, because when we do the analysis and look at his voting record, I mean, he's not a moderate. He has voted for a lot of big government things. So from my viewpoint, it's a bit ironic that this sharp criticism, these arguments and debates going back and forth, I don't know, maybe the people are getting tired of it. Maybe they're getting tired of the Republicans bickering among themselves when they realize that their positions are essentially the same. And of course, we're not on the top, but we see ourselves growing in enthusiasm, and our numbers keep growing. So hopefully our message will resonate and more will join us, and I think that will be the case.
Because the way I see it, from your perspective, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, you have your positions. They're very well known to all of your supporters and a lot of other folks. But you look at the other three Republican candidates still left in this race, you don't see a whole lot of difference among these other three, do you?
No, I don't. And if you're talking just about political strategy and political consequences, that, of course, falls to a benefit to us because in many ways I'm running against the status quo. Individuals that support the positions that existed, they don't question anything in foreign policy or anything in monetary policy, and they've been big spenders. I mean, none of them were, when they had a chance to really show fiscal conservatism, they didn't do it. They talk sort of that one now, but they don't offer any cuts. So there is a difference, but I think that's is what's raising the frustration level with many Republicans, and I have to just work hard to present my case for limited government and a different monetary system and looking at entitlements and actual cuts. And you know that I have proposed and very sincere about it, and people know that I would cut $1 trillion out of the budget. I think government is too big, and if you want it smaller, you have to cut the spending.
And then you speak about your monetary policy. I know you want to go back to the gold standard. So walk us through how that would work out, how that would play out. Right now, the international economy is basically based on the U.S. dollar. If you went to the gold standard, how do you change that? Walk us through the process.
Well, not easily. You couldn't do it with waving the wand. You couldn't do it in a day. You can't get rid of the Fed in a day. But you have to have gradualism and work it out. When we went back on a gold standard after the Civil War, it was like 17 years later, and they had a 3-year transition period. So it has to be worked out. All I want to do is legalize competition with this paper money system. The world is going to come crashing down financially when this continues, especially what's happening in Europe. But I just want people to opt out of it and be able to preserve their wealth by using another currency. And the system, even by those who are very much in charge on international finance, knows this is coming because they're talking about a new currency, but they're talking about another paper currency run by the United Nations. And that, of course, would be anathema to those of us who believe that we have a national sovereignty and a right to protect our own currency.
Because you say the system is about to come crashing down. If you take a look at the last 3 years, since President Obama took office, if you look at the Dow Jones, the Wall Street numbers, they've really gone up a lot, from under 7,000, 65, 6,800 to over 12,000, approaching 13,000. Why are these numbers so good right now?
Well, because the Fed has created so much money. The inflation is the increase in supply of money. We never know where exactly it will go, but they will channel it. So it channeled it to the financial markets, and the banks got the money for free, where the people who produce jobs, they don't even get the loans. It's much safer for the banks to borrow at 0% and loan it back to the government at 3%, and they get out of trouble. And the stocks like that. But there's no real growth, regardless of what these employment statistics shows. You know, in the past 10 years, there's really been no growth. We've had a 30 million increase in population, but no significant increase in productive jobs. So this country is in much worse shape. And when you count all the unemployment, even by government statistics, the unemployment rate is 11%. And that's why the people feel a lot worse than the government tells us we're supposed to feel. And I think the American people know that, and that's why there's still a lot of concern about the economy.
We'll get back to that when we come back from the break. That's a good place to stop. And I want to, you know, who's not paying attention to this? I mean, who's on the other side going, nuh-uh? Well, the establishment, of course, but the people. You know, where are they at on this? Sooner or later, they're going to be paying attention. And a lot have. I mean, we talked to, Caleb Lever and Ben Farmer from LibertyFestWest.com. They're putting on an event that starts tonight, VIP tickets with dinner with, and I'm with the speakers and so on. You have to understand, from my perspective, we've seen this coming. I was these young guys. Think about it. 11 years ago, when we started the Freedom Summit, I was 40 years old, 39, 40. The same age that Caleb is now. I think he said he was 38, 39, somewhere around there. So, we saw this coming. It's coming. Well, it's here. And I remember it was just a couple of weeks ago. It was after South Carolina, I think, when Dr. Paul said, all that. We said, if we don't do something, next generation's going to have to, and next generation someday, and next generation, the future next generation. It's the next generation. All right, it's here. Bills due. Hello. Now what? Now freaking what? I say we survive. It's first thing. We'll finish this up with Dr. Paul Wolf Blitzer when we come back in just a little bit.
This is Charles Goyette, author of the New York Times bestseller, The Dollar Meltdown, so you can learn how to protect yourself and your family. Now, you can audit the Fed. You can end the Fed. But why not start by ignoring the Fed? Visit don'ttreadonmeme.com. That's Don't Tread on M-E-M-E, fashioning the silver economy. A meme, a contagious idea that spreads within a culture, a spontaneous order. Nowhere is this more evident than in one's free choice in that most marketable of commodities, money. Let us Austrians use wallet voting. Don't Tread on Meme, the leading craftsman of silver dime trading cards, as well as some offbeat Liberty-themed apparel. Follow the history of the dime card outreach at onceuponadime.info and get a silver calculator app at whaisthiscoinworth.info. Boycott an empire of theft. Build a society of consent. Don't tread on meme.
Free Talk Live.
How dare you, and who do you think you are? I mean, it's my life, it's my business. I should be able to run it how I want to, and my customers should be able to make the choice for themselves as to whether or not they want to do business with me. And they should be able to make that choice based on the quality of my product or my reputation or the fact that I've got third-party certification or whatever factors they deem important. If I'm doing business and you don't trust me or you think I'm shady, then you don't have to do business with me. In fact, you can tell other people what you think about my business and my practices, and maybe they also will join you in not doing business with me. There's no need for government regulations out there. The marketplace can handle third-party certification of various different products and services to where people who are concerned about whether or not the business they're dealing with is trustworthy can check with a verifiable resource that indeed this is a trustworthy individual or a trustworthy company that you're doing business with.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
On Free Talk Live, we talk about investing in gold and silver as a hedge against inflation, investment, and barter currency. We've teamed up with Midas Resources to offer you some great rates on some hand-picked gold and silver pieces. U.S. Eagles, British Sovereigns, 20 francs, Lakota Nation silver rounds, Montana silver reserves, and Walking Liberty halves. Call 877-857-9938 or go to gold.freetalklive.com. The shipping is the same for 1 as it is for 20, so try to get as many as you can all at once. Gold.freetalklive.com.
Instead of just listening, you can also watch. See the Liberty Radio Network's key New Hampshire-based live shows via our studio cam at cam.lrn.fm. Plus, you'll still be able to listen to the Liberty Radio Network via the cam feed in high quality 24/7, even when there's no live show being produced in our Keene studio. But wait, there's more. Our chat room is built into the cam page so you can interact with other listeners online. Listen, watch, and chat. All free at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take...
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.
Liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and a little bit of Megadeth New World Order. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, we're going to go ahead and finish up with Dr. Paul and Wolf Blitzer here real quick. And those of you that are doing the DCast embed on Freedom's Phoenix video live streaming. Hello. You just go to freedomsphoenix.com, and we are live streaming in the studio with you-know-who, me. Hello. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is finish with this, and then I got a bunch of stuff. I mean, heck, I can just read Freedom's Phoenix all day, every day, and damn. Now, we have in the third hour, Andrew and Gwen Stremick are coming in. Now, you remember Gwen was my producer until she had her baby, like 2 months premature, but it's doing great. I mean, it looks, now it's at, we're kind of like a couple of weeks past its actual due date, and Jared is just doing fantastic. Good-looking kid. Perfect. Things are fine. But she spent like 8 hours a day, every day, going and breastfeeding, the child and making sure she pumped and so on, and it got what it needed every day. Now, of course, she was producing, way more than the preemie needed, so she was supplying a couple of other mothers. Hey, go on Craigslist. Hey, I got extra milk. Hey, I need milk. Boom, done. Done. Seriously. So I'm going, okay, cool. That's free market and breast milk. But, what do? Nope, raw milk, can't do it. Nope, judge just ruled you're not allowed. You got around the system. You did this and that in violation of, no. We'll talk about that. They're really big into organic foods. Eating healthy. She's diabetic. So, she had type 1 diabetes her whole life. She's young, 24 years old, Gwen is, something like that, 23, 24, and had diabetes, her since puberty, and she's just, having to cope with that. But, you eat right, a lot of problems go away, and you get impregnated and have babies. But what happened was she was at a clinic yesterday doing something, some baby thing. I didn't get all the story. We're going to hear about it today. And they were giving out free fluoride for your children. Oh, it's free. You don't have enough fluoride. You had that baby some fluoride. Come here, we got a fluoride dose for them. I'm like, what? She goes, Ernie, you wouldn't believe it. All the stuff they're saying and doing, the fluoride. And I go, really? She's going to come in today, her and her husband Andrew. They're going to be here in the last hour. They're going to tell us all about, well, at least you can get free fluoride. Man, you can't make this stuff up. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up with Dr. Paul here. I want to wow, seriously. Let's go ahead and do this. Here we go.
Where do you stand, Congressman, on the debate that's underway, the fight that's underway right now between the White House and the Catholic Church on contraception as far as religious-based hospitals, charities, universities that would be required to provide contraception? You're a doctor, among other things. Where do you stand on this fight that's going on, not only as a physician, but a libertarian?
Well, the position, I just don't like mandates and telling people what to do. We get into trouble, though, when you use taxpayers' funding, you do things you shouldn't be doing. So when the taxpayers get involved, then you say, how can you be fair to everybody? Well, you can't be. So the government shouldn't be funding it. But certainly, if the funding is going to occur, you don't tell churches what they should do. So I don't like the mandates at all. And I think Obama's dug a hole for himself here, because he's trampling on religious conviction. But the political and economic and constitutional approach of government being involved in doing things like this is really where it starts, because then you say, we have a government program. How can you satisfy everybody's wants and wills and what they want to do and protect everybody? It's absolutely impossible. This is why, if it's voluntary, if you have voluntary churches or whatever, you can do what you want, and the government doesn't have a say, just to protect voluntary choices rather than the government dictating to the people on what they should do or shouldn't do about birth control.
Well, I just want to be precise on this, and then I'll let you go. Let's say you're a woman who works at Georgetown University Hospital, which is a Catholic-based university hospital. You're not necessarily Catholic. You want to, even if you are Catholic, you want to have access, your health insurance, to get birth control pills. Should your health insurance company be required to provide you that kind of access?
No, then it's not insurance. I mean, once there's government involvement insurance, then there are these dictates. But if insurance were a voluntary issue for individuals rather than the way we deliver it with tax benefits to large corporations, and your medical benefits go with the corporation, become very complex. But in a true free market, you'd pick the company that would provide you with the services that you want. It would be like picking out which life insurance policy you want, or picking out what kind of house policy you want, or what kind of car policy you want. It would be individualized. But once again, the government's been involved in this healthcare business for so long. But when they put a mandate on and say you must do this or must do that, it's no longer insurance. They're not measuring risk at all, and the customer's not making a choice, and the businessman is not making a choice. So it's the fault of compulsion by government-run programs that will inevitably lead to these arguments and fights.
You're going to win the Maine caucus this Saturday?
I think we have a chance to do that, and I'll be up there and struggling up to the last minute, but every time I've been up there, the support has been wonderful, and I'm so pleased that they're very receptive to the ideas of liberty, and I'm cautiously optimistic about Saturday.
We'll be covering it with a special situation room, 6 p.m. Eastern, starting our coverage Saturday night. Congressman Paul, as usual, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
The Cafferty File is up next. Then more on the contraception controversy.
You know, I'm so it's so obvious what's going on with the media and how they're trying to portray this, and every opportunity they give Dr. Paul to explain himself, it has to grate him. But I don't think they understand the favor they're doing him. Yeah, but you're against it, and you're not going to let him, because they're already prepping the ground for Obama. They're going, yes, you have to supply. It's all this we mandate mentality. The idea of freedom, that you get to pick your own insurance or whatever conditions. And he said, Dr. Paul said auto insurance, and each state's probably different. Certainly here in Arizona, no, there's a lot of mandates. It has to be this much. It has to cover that. It has to. You're out of free market insurance, and you have to have it. There was this is a good point. In 93, 4, around in there, even the 92 election cycle, we did an initiative I think it was the 94 election cycle. We did an initiative that would eliminate mandatory auto insurance here in Arizona. Now, what happened was they had done a sunset law, kind of like, Patriot Act. We'll just do it for a little while, see how it works out. So they got the special interest, all these small insurance companies and everything, because nobody go to them because they're expensive or they didn't do good coverage or whatever. But if you mandate it, then you can get these subprime kind of, on the edge insurance companies to get some business. Because insurance is there to protect your assets, not somebody else's. So if your car is only $200, a piece of junk that you're driving around, guess what? You're probably not, worried about insurance. But if you're driving a Mercedes and you're worried about getting hit by a clunker, you're getting, comprehensive and liability and everything else to protect your assets. And if you have a free market, you might be able to save some money to have some assets to protect. We'll talk about this. This was a really good example of how the free market really should work. We'll be right back.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated. So send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single-word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate, well, I know a guy who's really great. It's the Porcupine Realtor. Do you want a home with 20 acres, a lakeside cabin, any takers for renters, buyers, and sellers too? Mark Warden is the guy for you. PorcupineRealtor.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Yeah, welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's very nice. We have Andrew and Gwen Stremick are coming in to tell us all about free fluoride. At least it's free. Hey, you got child, you can get some fluoride. You know, I think, Donna, get on the microphone real quick. I don't know which one that is.
This is one, 2, I think.
Okay, here we go. 2. How's that?
Hi.
There you go.
Okay.
Wasn't there, when we first started taking our kids, and they were real little, to the dentist, and they were doing checkups and everything, weren't they giving them free fluoride treatments on their teeth or some crap?
Yeah, they put this goop, it's kind of like a toothpaste thing, in a mouthpiece, and then they put it in their mouth for like 10 or 15 minutes, supposed to help protect their teeth. I had it when I was a kid, too. I think it was just coming out then.
You know, I just remembered that, and I'm not even sure, I don't even think it was free. We had,
it may have been.
Can I please poison my children? You know?
It may have been. If we were on insurance, they probably just, threw it on there, because...
the thing is that there are different kinds. There are, I think it's sodium fluoride is the one that's supposed to kind of protect your teeth, and you put it directly on the teeth, and then you spit it out, and you don't drink it or something. It might have some benefit. But the problem is that I had a friend, we were doing a research thing We'll talk about this in the next hour. During the summer, I keep my kids occupied when we had the restaurant and everything, give them something intellectually to do other than making pizzas. And we had one project was a freedom of information thing. We're just going to find out about fluoride in the city of Phoenix water kind of deal with my son Corsair. And I just, we'll do this, we'll call this, we'll do that, we'll send this letter, just to education. I wanted to find out anyway and give them something to do and learn kind of, as part of, training. So we go ahead and we went through this process, and what we learned was that some of the other activists, as we were doing the emails about what we were doing, just, as a little side project, it doesn't matter. It's only fluoride, whatever you should worry about. That's the bad stuff. And then we find out that's the stuff that they're putting in. I go, okay, is it bad now? I'm just, that's exactly what they're doing. Is it bad now? Well, so there's so much stuff, because when you say fluoride, it's like saying an oxide. A fluorine is the element. Well, it's very corrosive, very reactive. It'll react with anything, even carbon. And that's why you have Teflon is fluorocarbon. It's so inert because it's so active, and it goes with it, it becomes inactive, and nothing sticks to it. That's how you get Teflon coatings. That's where that comes from. But the fluoride, that's just one kind of fluoride. So you have all these different kind of fluorides that's used in industry, and it's a waste product, a sludge at the bottom of the barrel. And they go, you know what we can do with this? We can sell it to your children for free. We'll do it for free because we love you so much.
Somebody's paying for it.
Somebody's paying for it. So we're going to find, I just wanted to clear that up because I think I remember I'm going, I remember when they were little kids. We're like, yay, we poisoned them, Well,
we just didn't know any better. The internet wasn't around then. And so, there's a lot of information out there.
A doctor in a white coat.
Yeah, well, yep.
He said.
Yep.
He loves us.
Yeah.
Now we're learning.
Yeah, you really got to be careful because I think Gwen's probably going to tell you a little bit about what she experienced yesterday. But, I think these people, it's not that they're bad meaning because there's a lot of people that just don't know. I mean, they really think that they're doing you a service by trying to push this fluoride on you, but they just really don't know. It's an opportunity to teach them.
There was a dentist. We used to cover this on Freedom's Phoenix quite a bit. It was when we first started doing it goes in waves. I mean, they'll have some community that doesn't want to fluoride or doesn't fluoride. I'll give you an example. It's like Gilbert, Arizona. They didn't fluoride. They're just south of Mesa out here and everything. What did they do? They put them on the Mesa municipal water system and made them fluoride because if you don't fluoridate, this is like quartzite, same kind of thing. They want you on the municipal water system to qualify for all kind of grant, blah, blah, blah. And the companies, these toxic waste companies, that's what they are. They take the toxic waste from industry and they have to dispose of it. Well, let me tell you how they dispose of it. They use your kidneys as filters. I mean, this is what they do. We when we were doing this research, we found the company that supplied the fluoride here, they got it from industry, and they were being sued by the EPA, no less, for all their toxic waste dumping whatever. Well, what they do is they pay for the injection machinery and equipment that they bring their big tanker truck up and dump it into your water system. That mechanism that the city doesn't pay for that. We're do it to you for free because we love you. It's a toxic waste dump. So we did, it's all about the money. So we did spreadsheets. I go, okay, this is what we're going to do. How much does it cost? How much are we? I want to see the invoice. I want to see the freedom of information. Well, I can't see the invoice. Oh, there's a story right there. It goes on for a month or two. Finally, all right, fine. So they give me the invoice. I just did some math. Take this truck, pay the driver. How much does it cost? Diesel fuel, go from Texas to here. They put it in, dump it. He drives back. How much does that cost? You know what? They're not making any money. In fact, in a lot of cases, it was kind of even, but they were losing money. It's right. Why were they doing this? They're not making any money at it. Because it's a toxic waste dump. Your kidneys. That was the point. They wanted to get rid of it. More than they wanted to make money on it. They made money by taking it from industry to get rid of. So this is, and this fluoride thing's not an issue. I mean, don't even start with me, man. I already know where I make one freedom of information request. The city of Phoenix water supply, you do the same thing. Yeah, I want to see the invoice. Who's paying for this? Why are you paying for this? What good does it do? They don't care. It's all just to get rid of toxic waste from industry. It's all about the money. You think government loves your teeth? They love you. We're going to give it for free because they love you. They love you. Now, we have grandchildren. We're going to have, by for the end of this year, we're going to have 4 grandkids. Guess how much fluoride they get? You know? And there's no vaccines, no shot, no not. And are they the healthiest, smartest kids you ever had?
Yeah, pretty much. They're very intuitive.
You know, this is the one thing that we learned because we paid attention. We had 4 kids. You know, I got 15 kids. Heck, my uncle had 15 kids. They Mormon.
Yeah, I think by the time you're grandparents, you figure it out, what works and what doesn't. But yeah, we're not going to poison them.
Well, more than that, I mean, of course not, but I mean, you got to know what poison is, but I mean, you get to see the difference. These kids have not been, they've had the sniffles, I think, once.
Once or twice, yeah.
Sniffles.
Yeah, nothing major.
Doesn't even slow them down. They just got, you know, green hair, you know? And they go like this, you say, you know, why you got that green stripe down the middle of your head, little Corsair? And he goes, I don't know. He just wiping his head back, you know, from his nose. You know, it's kind of an old joke. Anyway, so you get a little green, but that's another thing that you notice. Their mucus is immediately green. When you got the runs and you're just draining and so on, that's the infection. It's coming in. Your body's trying to react. It's not until you start to get the green mucus that you're seeing that you're winning the battle, you know. Well, as soon as they get the sniffles, all of a sudden it starts coming green. You know they're winning. They're winning. Their immune system's winning right off the bat. My granddaughter, Kaylee, she wants, you know, tree juice. That's what she calls it. You know, or papa juice.
It's papa juice.
You know, but she's using the tree because we have orange trees in the back. So what she does, she goes, papa juice, papa juice, papa juice. Put her on my shoulders. We go out to the orange tree and ding, you know, pulls off the orange. We come in, we got a KitchenAid thing, and we slice, we wash them, you know, get all bird poop off and everything. We wash them, put them on a cutting board, cut them in half. Got a KitchenAid with a little orange, you know, squeezer thing on it. Then I hold her hand, we help, and we squeeze the orange juice. We make orange juice, and it's nice and pulpy. You know, somebody's going to give this kid Sunny D or something, she's going to hurl. You know, so she's getting, you know, all these kids, ew, I don't want all that. Heck, she doesn't know any other orange juice. What, your orange juice doesn't have lumps? You call that orange juice? Seriously? Now, we strain it through a colander and get the big giant chunks out, but, you know, it's definitely got some, you know, anything smaller than a seed and it's in there. So she's drinking the, you know, healthy food. And I tell you the difference with orange juice, it's fresh. When you drink it, you're not hungry. Because it's got a bunch of nutrition in it and real sugars and so on. None of this, you know, corn syrup crap. You know, I mean, you actually get some nutrition. We've seen the difference. We've had 4 kids, and now we're going to have 4 grandkids. And I'm telling you, totally different level of health. Well, they want to change that because they got free fluoride. Yeah.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Agents of the state are threatening your freedom. Become a free agent and take it back. Google FR33 to get connected with other men and women around the globe who are united against state aggression and who are committed to not violent revolution, but peaceful evolution. It costs nothing to rally others to your causes by starting websites, creating and joining groups, and more. Stay up to date on the global movement for liberty by reading, watching, and listening to reports from our growing network of free agents. Free agents who work to achieve a free society can receive points for various activities which can be redeemed for gear, such as clothing, cameras, and more. When defending yourself against the state, be equipped with FR33 gear. You can directly invest in the projects that you care about right now so that free agents can get the valuable support they need. States are going to fail, so get off the sidelines and join other free agents on the front lines of freedom today by visiting fr33agents.com. That's fr33agents.com.
Do you want to support good people who disobey bad laws? The Civil Disobedience Evolution Fund was created to support the brave men and women who are saying no to aggressive government. With your contribution, you can support civil disobedience and non-cooperation now while encouraging more in the future. As cdevolution.org grows, we hope to provide activists with legal and public relations assistance, as well as delivering timely information on the growing civil disobedience movement. To play your part in the peaceful evolution, visit cdevolution.org. It's cdevolution.org.
If you can't listen to the Liberty Radio Network's internet streams, free satellite channel, or radio affiliates, no worries. You can listen to LRN.FM from any phone, anywhere. Add this number to your phone, 760-569-7753. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Liberty Radio Network listen lines are locked on our stream 24 hours a day. Call 760-569-7753. That's 760-569-7753.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people.
Sure thing. Do what you want to do.
There's a man.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around.
Yeah, the man be a-coming around, you know it.
The hairs.
And there was one thing that we did in the early 90s. We were being, excuse me, pierogies. We're being early activists, libertarians. We're trying to understand what's going on. And mandatory auto insurance was just one of those issues. I promised to get to it. We'll do it this segment. Okay. They had passed a mandatory auto insurance. You must have insurance. Well, the understanding principally, as Dr. Paul was talking about insurance being private sector, you know, once you start mandating any provisions of insurance, you're not in the free market anymore. And even if you're mandating that you have insurance to begin with, because once you say you must have insurance, okay, define that. What is that? How much is that? What do I need? What's the minimum? Blah, 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 blah. This didn't used to be this way. You had people driving around in their clunkers with no insurance. Oh my God, they don't have insurance. Well, what if they hit me? Well, you better have insurance then. You know, so you could go after them and you say you can do, debtor prison, say, hey man, you owe me, and then you can even get a judge do a lien, bang. You owe them, you go to court, and you need in restitution and owe and kind, and that happens. Okay? I one time in, I don't know, it was the early 90s, late 80s, I didn't have insurance on an old Suburban that I was working on. The brakes didn't work that great, and I kind of grazed somebody $200 and something. You know, we go to, he said, well, it's just what, we went to court. They said, this much? Okay, that's how much it did. Boom, paid them, done. Without insurance, I mean, the court system, is like, that's what they're there for. So I'm going, okay. So it was not a big deal. It was just a couple $100. Guy was, whatever. But didn't need insurance. Use the court system. That's what it's there for. Now, if I had more assets, if I got my Mercedes, I'm driving my Lamborghini, guess what I want? I want insurance. I better. Because, if something happens to that, that's a big, giant investment. Or if somebody hits me and they don't have insurance, well, you have mandatory liability. You got to pay for somebody else. But not mandatory, you get to cover your own stuff. So I'm going, okay, why? Because that's how they sold it. They're going, look, man, you got to be responsible for whatever damage you do somebody else. Okay? In what way? Civilly, it's mandated. Are you in the free market then? Who benefits from that and so on? As opposed to the concept to, you take care of yourself. I own myself. I take care of my stuff. It's mine. That's what comprehensive is all about. I go in, I have a nice vehicle, and I know sooner or later, that's why you get insurance, with or without mandate. I have a 2003 Chevy Impala. Pretty good shape. It's white. Everything I get's white, so it looks new all the time when I wash it. So I have a Chevy Impala. Works great. On the highway, gets 32 miles a gallon. A little bit of performance in it. Works good. Seat 6. Man, I'm styling. It's kind of the smallest car that'll seat 6. They don't even make them seat 6 anymore. But so I'm going, okay, I like this car. It's good family. It's got Dad's car. Dad. Got it. So I've had that for a while. Since 05, 6-7 years. I bought it used a couple years old. So it's paid off. I'm doing good. We got a Montero, 97, 98. 2 Monteros, identical. 2 white, 4-wheel drive, 4-door. I liked it so much, I went and got another one exactly like it. Found one for a couple $1,000 on I said, let's look and see how much these things go for now, because we paid $7,000 for it years before. And they're like $2,000 for the same one with less mileage. Boom, shakalaka, done. I got an extra, okay? So like when Jordan Page comes, the 21st, so here to play the gig here in Arizona for Dr. Paul in the CNN debate, I got an extra car for him. Now, we had these 3 cars, because we got backup, and everybody's always needs something, but they don't need to have comprehensive on them, because the mandate law is, against someone else. Okay, I do that. Liability, make sure they don't, take everything I got, which is like nothing anyway. I don't need a judgment against me. So I'll get the insurance. Do I need comprehensive? Well, what's the value on this thing? I mean, they're probably valued at a couple $1,000s now. Heck, I bought it, for $2,000 for this Montero. I think it's worth a lot more than that, but, $2,000. So am I paying the extra over a couple of years? I'd be paying 2-3. It's better I just keep the money and buy more silver. When I have, I just get another car. So you keep that aside. It's not worth that insurance. That's the free market. But when you get into this mandatory you have to have, it messes all that up. Some people they can't afford it. And it's not, is that really what the free market does? The free market is for you to be able to protect your assets. And if you're driving a very expensive automobile and you want to protect that investment, then you want to get insurance for when something happens. Okay? Here in Arizona, they said mandatory. This is a nationwide effort. We'll just do a sunset. We'll do it for 10 years, see how it works out. Well, that 10 years came up while we were doing the activism. So what we did is we said, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be against mandatory auto insurance. This is, messes up the free market because these were the numbers that we were looking at. When you had mandatory auto insurance, before that, it cost X amount of dollars for the insurance. To add comprehensive or to add liability, you get comprehensive because you're protecting your assets. When something happened, you want to get that. To add liability, it was like, a little bit more. And, if you did uninsured motorist, now think about it. That was a separate coverage. If you had, if somebody hits me and they don't have insurance, I want this extra little piece of insurance on my insurance that covers me when they don't have insurance. How much more was that? It's like $50 a year. When they mandated it, all of a sudden insurance went, big time. You want to have that? Well, that's 4 or 5 times that. It just totally messed up the free market. To where you would get the coverage that you wanted. You're so worried. Well, they don't have insurance. By you mandating that they have insurance, your cost went up. You could have bought the uninsured motorist insurance on yours that you're so worried about for less. Did that even occur to you? No. They want a mandate. Because that was how it was marketed. Oh, these illegal immigrants. Oh, these guys don't have it. Oh, they don't. And the illegal immigrants couldn't get insurance because they couldn't get a driver's license. So most of this is all about illegal immigrants. All these immigrants don't drive around without insurance because they can't. I'm like, wow, how many examples you got to give of government just screwing things up? So we came out with these numbers. We're going, look, it would be cheaper for your insurance and have all the coverage that you wanted, even if they didn't have insurance, if you did away with the mandate. It would be cheaper. Oh, they didn't like that. Here come the special interest lobbying guys. Big mailings, write-in. They had a postcard campaign, send this back you want. Thousands of them, they come in. Statewide, they do this. They got 7,000 postcards. See, all these people want it to be redone and everything because that was the livelihood of a lot of these B-rated small insurance companies. That's how they made their living from the mandates. Well, then there was another little twist. In amongst all this, there was a gentleman named Ricky Duncan. And he's a, kind of a hoarder guy. I mean, he's an auction guy. He's a retired roofer guy. And he's out there, does, different things. And he goes to auctions and stuff. And he came across these really nice leather-bound, loose-leaf three-wing binders that he wanted. It was a judge that was retiring or he had died or something in his estate, here's all his stuff. And he wanted these binders. But in there was a bunch of legal research that this judge had done. And he actually is one of these guys, reads it. And he read it and he goes, oh, the 13th Amendment, involuntary servitude, anti-slavery amendment to the Constitution, 13th Amendment, Congress defined, this was the Jim Crow laws and all this stuff was going on. They defined involuntary servitude as forcing individuals into third-party contracts. Mandatory auto insurance. Why? Because in the South, they were saying, oh, yeah, you work for the plantation owner, De La What's-His-Face, to haul around the cotton and everything before. Well, now that you're a freed slave, you're not allowed to do it unless you got a $500 bond, which might as well have been $1 billion back then. If you're not working, you don't have $500 in assets, you can't go on the road with your buggy hauling stuff. You got to work for the man. Got to get re-enslaved. You got to enter into a third-party mandatory contract with someone able to use the road for commerce. Ha! We're the man. So what did the Congress do? Voluntary servitude was defined as forcing an individual into a third-party contract. Filed federal suit against the state of Arizona saying mandatory auto insurance is involuntary servitude violation of slavery. Oh, the reply came back this thick. Going, Oh, we'll do that story sometime. We should do that again. Tell you all about that. Mandates, slavery. You're being forced into a third-party contract already defined. We'll be right back with Andrew and Gwen.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire